fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we just went over how Deku was spending his time over his internship and the final exams where it was Deku and Kirishima versus All Might. Now, with that being said, Deku was able to let loose and fight All Might. Midoriya was able to throw out more power than he ever has in his entire life. And ultimately, it ended with him beating All Might in raw strength and power. Now, with that being said, this caught a lot of people off guard, especially since they believed that All Might was still holding back, and Midoriya still beat him. That needs to be the thing, right? All Might was holding back, right? Right? That's insane. Now, along with that, Midoriya, he has been trying to help Toga control Carnage. Now, he has been trying to do that since the very sports festival ended. And this did make Jiro a bit jealous. She does not know about Carnage. But Deku and Toga have been having this strange energy around both of them. This strange tension. And it feels like only she can see it. Now, with that being said, Jiro is getting jealous, believing that Deku and Toga are actually getting closer. Now, in reality, Deku is trying to help Toga manage Carnage. It is a very, very taxing thing to do. Mentally, she is being broken down. However, with Midoriya there trying to help her, it's keeping that at bay. For now. And we actually do pick up with everyone on the bus for the summer training camp. Now, with that, everybody is talking on the bus. Deku actually next to Jiro, as Toga is behind both of them. Jiro and Deku actually talking about some bands that they do want to listen to. And Jiro actually talking about how her mom or her dad does actually work with a music company. Telling Deku that there's actually this thing coming up in a few weeks. And wondering if he would like to go to a concert with her. Midoriya just looking at her and saying, of course. Asking what type of music they might be playing. Now, Toga is obviously jealous about all this. As she does actually cut Midoriya off, or cut Jiro off, asking Midoriya if he would like to actually play video games with her this weekend. Or whenever they do get back. Sure, I'd love to. But about the concert. Now, Toga is enraged. However, everyone else does actually see the way she is acting. Now, with that being said, Aizawa does actually cut everybody off by explaining to them that now is a good time to get out of the bus and go take a breather. Get a breath of fresh air, and then they will actually continue on with where they are. Now, with that, Izuku, he actually does go to stand up. Everyone else is rushing past him, and he is waiting for everyone to leave. However, Jiro does just grab him by the sleeve of his shirt, asking him if he can hold on for 1 second. Now, Toga, she already did start walking off the bus, expecting Deku to be right behind her. as she'd actually turn around and he was not there. Now, we actually do have on the bus, where Jiro does ask Midori about what's been going on with him and Toga lately. Huh? What do you mean? Well, it's just you guys have been spending a bit more time together. And, well, um, I guess the best way to ask this is, are you two dating? Hmm? Wait, what? Me and Toga? Well, I mean, she's a nice girl and all, and she is cute. But, well, no, we aren't. Huh? Really? Now, Midoriya does try to explain this a bit more, talking about how he's helping her with problems. Midoriya actually saying the truth is, before being cut off by Aizawa, who does just wrap the scarf around him, telling him that this is not the time for that, as he is dragged outside the bus. Now, with that being said, the pussycats do roll up, and Midori does actually see them. The moment he does feel his spider sense go off, as one of the pussycats, or tiger as he's called, would walk straight to Deku, along with a few, members of the pussycats. All of them looking at him and simply just asking him about why, or what is his quirk. They would like to know. All of them being quite curious. Now, Midoriya would try to explain it, however, with them bombarding him with questions, Aizawa does just tell them all to leave the kid alone. Now, one of them actually do ask about his finals, to which they would go on stating that the kid beat All Might. Now, after that does happen, we actually do have where the person who does have the quirk would create the earthquake, or destroy the ground underneath everyone. Midoriya reacting immediately, as he does suit up with Venom and go to throw out his webs. Now, him and Sero actually would work together, Midoriya telling him to duct tape everyone together, or duct tape people together and in close. Midoriya creating a giant spiderweb directly underneath all of them, as they would all land in it, and some people would have trouble getting up. And we do actually have Midoriya, who does land in before immediately jumping up onto his feet and looking around. Now, Midoriya does notice something about Toga whenever she did actually land and go to get back up. She was able to actually move easier than everyone else was, along with that her eyes turned pitch black red, along with the area around her face. Now, Midoriya immediately moved in close and actually to get in front of her before everyone else did see her face, telling her to keep her eyes down and to calm down. Now, Toga does try and tell Midoriya that it's difficult, and she's going to lose it. Midoriya reassuring her as she does actually pull her into a hug that everything's going to be okay. They'll figure out what's going on with her. Now, Venom would bond with her at that second, calming down Carnage as it would retreat back into her body. As Midoriya does actually pick her up and actually leap off the giant web with her, setting her down as he actually does look around, asking people if they're all okay. Now, everyone does verify that they are all alright. However, moving all of that gunk was difficult. And how Yaoyorozu did actually have to create certain items to help them all get down. Now, they are then informed by the wild pussycats that they are going to fight their way through the forest. And Deku and Kirishima are the ones leading the charge. Midoriya actually using a bit of Miriko's abilities, as we actually have him who's leaping off with one foot directly through the trees. Every tree he leaps off of, he knocks over. And if you're following his path, you can see the way he's moving. Him running across trees and basically at least, being invisible to everyone. They're following Midoriya's path of destruction, and it's quite insane. Especially since Midoriya, he actually just leap onto one tree and land on it. The force of him landing on it was enough to actually start making it fall over, but Midoriya pushing off of it rips all of the roots out of the ground, as he goes slamming through giant creatures of Earth. Now, Midoriya would get to the training camp within minutes, while everyone else who is there is holding against Kirishima, Bakugo, and Icy Hot, who are actually trying to follow Midoriya. However, he's not running in a straight line. Some people do try and split off into different groups and arrive later, as Midoriya is the only one who is sitting there whenever everyone else does arrive. The teachers pulling up and seeing him, as Class 1A does come out behind the trees. Now, Mr. Aizawa does say that he really should have expected that. Well, Mr. Aizawa. This being what Venom does say, talking about how he should not underestimate them, and how he really can't blame Class 1A. He caught them all off guard, and this was basically a surprise villain attack. So, heads up next time would have been good. That way they can properly prepare themselves and actually come up with strategies to enter the situation. Now, Aizawa does just look at Venom before walking away, saying to get them some cooking material, and that he's not going to listen to this. Now, with that, we actually do have everyone cooking. And then there is Midoriya, who he is attempting to make food. However, he is also preparing meals with other students. Now, along with that, there actually is Kota, who he was hesitant to approach Deku when he did arrive, since he was basically looked like this in the picture whenever he emerged from the forest, before suiting back down. Now, with that being said, everyone does begin their own training, and Deku does actually train with Icy Hot himself. He's supposed to try and stand there while he's blasting ice and fire. Them trying to train Midoriya's quote-unquote quirk. Midoriya aware that this might not work at all, and that this is basically going to hurt a lot. Now, with that, everyone also does hang out and actually try and make closer friends or change a few things. And we actually do pick up with everyone who's sitting around a campfire and actually tired from the day's training, as everyone who's sitting around is talking. Eventually it boiling down to, oh yeah, what's been going on with Midoriya, that strange villain who hasn't popped up in a while, those things that he was charged with, and Midoriya is trying to explain it all, along with talking about how his internship he took down quite a number of villains, and that being where people do actually start playing games. And Midoriya is pulled aside in the middle of all this by Jiro, her actually asking Midoriya a question, which would catch him off guard. Now, she does basically tell Midoriya that she understands that something complicated is going on with Toga. She's been trying to learn more about it herself, but Toga won't tell her. So, if he is single, then would he like to go out on a date? Or, well, hang out some more, whenever he does have free time. Now, Midoriya does do one thing. Walking up and telling Jiro that it's actually quite a bit of a surprise. Him and her actually sitting down and talking a bit more, on a, let's say, bench. Now, Midoriya does explain that he does like her. However, with everything going on, he kinda hasn't had time for a relationship. And he actually does tell her that he can show her a bit of what's going on, and it's the truth. However, she has to promise him not to freak out. Now, she's quite confused about this. However, Midoriya, he does just tell Venom to show her everything. Now, Jiro does get shown how Midoriya found Venom, and that he was quirkless, along with actually showing her that Toga, she has inherited the spawn of Venom, and the fight with Riot, where he still has no idea who that man was. Now, whenever these two do come back from their trip, not Toru, Jiro is sitting there kind of confused and wondering about it all. As she does tell Midoriya that sounds like a lot to take in. Wow. Aliens? Bonding with humans. Wow, okay. That's a lot to take in. Yeah. So now you know why I got blonde hair. I don't know, I still think it might suit you. Her bringing her hand up and actually grabbing onto Midoriya's hair. It's weird. It feels sort of soft. However, it does also at the same time feel rough. Her asking Midoriya if, well, he's encountered any other physical changes like this. Oh, yeah. My training with All Might. Oh. I was curious about all that. Well, I mean, you know, if you're showing me everything, I might as well show you everything. Are you sure about that? I guess. Now, Midoriya would look through some of her memories. Her focusing on the ones she does want Midoriya to see the most. And eventually these two do continue on their conversation, while somebody close by is paying attention. Now, the person stalking them does watch as Midoriya and Jiro do eventually kiss. And it's quite strange. The person sneaking back into the shadows, as Midoriya's spider sense did not go off. Now, with that being said, eventually these two do head back to everyone else, as Midoriya and her were gone for a little bit too long, and they are both teased about this. Now, somebody actually has remarked that if they needed some privacy, they could have asked Yaoyorozu to make some of those. Now, Jiro would basically just tell Denki that it's not like that, and Venom would pop out of Midoriya's shoulder, confirming that they didn't do anything. Oh, please. Well, his hormones are rising, so I can tell you that much. Venom? I will play dubstep. Oh no, not dubstep. I'm resistant to that now. I quite enjoy it. Shit. Fine, don't make me jump in a campfire. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would. Don't test me. Now, everyone does see that exchange, as they're just wondering. Dubstep? Oh, that makes a bit of sense. Now, with all of that being said, I do believe that this is a good point to leave off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.